I don't know how to intro these videos. This is a whole new channel. What's going on? It's Jay's More Retro. Today I'm gonna show you how I shell swap a PSP 3000. PSP 3000. It's in pretty bad shape. I got these from Sendico. If you saw my last video, which is my first video on my channel, we opened 10 PSPs. And I have a disclaimer, if you guys watch that video, I suggest you watch it if you guys are interested where I get all my handheld stuff at. Today I'm going to show you guys how to shell swap a 3000 model. It is a little different from a 2000, so I don't recommend following this because there are different parts from a 2000 to a 3000, just a few. But I will have a 2000 video coming out because I have shells on the way, so I'll make a video on that as well. But we are going to shell swap and screen replace. As you can, hold on, turn it on. That is the condition the PSP is in right now. Totally playable, right? It's like it looks totally fine. This is the best I can find them. There are people who sell third-party shells, but they're kind of a hit or miss. But we'll be shell swapping to a red clear. Debating if I want to keep the black buttons on the red clear or use the red buttons with the shell swap. And then I will link various links if you need new screens. I usually buy them from eBay or you can buy them from AliExpress, but you are gambling waiting for those to come in like 2 to 3 weeks, and then if you get it and your screen is broken, you are shot out of luck. And I will show you guys step by step how I do it. I've become very proficient in shell swapping for PSPs, 3000 models in particular, because it's the model I focus on most, and it's what most of my customers want. They want 3000 models because it's small, compact, and yeah. And I have a few already ready to go. This is my last one out of the drop that I have coming up that I have to swap over. And yeah, so I will show you guys the tools you need right now. I guess I'll show you with my face, my beautiful face. Number one is some kind of screwdriver set. You can buy like these little Phillips screwdriver sets on Amazon for like, I think 10 bucks. I have this one, and then I have my not professional, but it's more of a handy tool bag. As you can see, it comes with like spatulas and like scrapers. You're gonna need a set of tweezers. My preferred set of tweezers are the very sharp, like angled ones. These ones, I don't know if you can see them. These tweezers I would prefer you use because they're at an angle. This is the scalper I use to take off little pieces that are attached to the board. I use this little piece right here. Also, one of the things I will recommend that you must have on you is patience. You have to be very, very patient with it. You have to be very, very delicate with it because it is an old board, and a lot of the clasps that hold the ribbons will break off and you're shit out of luck, and your motherboard probably won't power on the screen. It depends. So you have to be very, very cautious. Warning, warning, warning. If you guys are going to proceed with shell swapping your PSP, I just want you to know I have no involvement of you destroying or bricking your PSP. This is on your own accord and your own decision. So if you do break it, do not blame me. I try to be cautious with you guys. This is a very fragile device, so please keep that in mind. And also enjoy the rest of the tutorial. You guys have to be patient. Alright, thank you. What I recommend is if you buy the little Phillips screwdriver set that I showed you, this one, you're gonna want to grab the little flathead one, which is this one. The reason I want the flathead is you want to use the little flat tip on the screw to slowly latch off the latches of the ribbon and not use your fingers, because your fingers they're so big, the little latches are tiny. And then optional items, toothbrush. This is to scrub off dust, and 90% isopropyl alcohol. Yeah, not recommended. You don't have to, but if you want to clean up the board, it'll probably be dusty. You're gonna want that. And the reason also, it depends on PSP 3000. Some of them are different models. Like technically, there's like a 3000, 3001, and I believe a 3002. I could be wrong. They're all technically 3000s, but they're somewhat different inside. They have different. Your motherboard and components might be a little different to mine. I don't know why they made them like this, but some of them are different. For example, the two screws right here by the mini USB will sometimes be Phillips screws, and then the other times they'll be like this weird like star looking screw. So you have to have the drill bit for that star screw, or else you cannot open up the motherboard. Okay, let's get started. So I don't have the best camera angles. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to work with what I have because I don't have that bougie equipment. So here's your PSP 3000. I already told you we're going to be screen swapping and shell swapping to this clear red PSP 3000. Alright, rule number one, we're going to take out the battery. Take out your battery. Pretty basic stuff. Sometimes these batteries are snug fits. Especially third-party batteries like this one. Just take it out properly. Don't yank it. You'll break the prongs. You'll break the prongs right here, and you don't want to do that. So then these also come with extra buttons and of course the thumbstick and extra screws. Highly 1000% listen to me right here. 1000% recommending using all stock default screws. All stock screws. Do not use the screws they give you in the shells because they are cheap. They're very cheap. Alright, well, let's open up this PSP. So just follow me and use all the stuff I use. We're gonna try and use every first-party item in this shell swap to make it feel at least somewhat legit. So we're gonna open this up. You're gonna need your Phillips screwdriver. I usually grab like this size drill bit. I don't know if you can see that. And then I just grab my little screwdriver. Now we're gonna open up. There are 4 screws on the back, 1 on the bottom, 2 on the top. So one of them at this moment right now is in hiding behind the void sticker. It's okay, you guys can rip off your void stickers. They're not, they don't work anymore, so you can't get in trouble by Sony. They don't repair your PSPs. So there's the screw, and then a screw right here and a screw right here. Sometimes this screw on the top, if you're using something like this, like a iFixit toolkit, they sometimes won't fit in here because of this the chunky part of the drill bit. Sometimes I get lucky. Like right now, I got lucky. I felt the screw. Sometimes these guys have been sitting for such a long time, and those screws are going to be freaking tight. So make sure you don't strip your screws or else you're screwed. Unless you're shell swapping, then you're fine. You can yank the bad boy out. But yes, always keep your screws in safe spots and remember which way they go. This is normally how I format them. I usually do stuff like this. Sorry you're seeing my hand. I'm sorry I'm not a good tutorial. I don't have that camera view like Macho Nacho in a lot of these productions. But work with what you got. Those are the 4 screws that are on the back. Like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes this bottom one is been rusted down a little extra tight. So what I like to do is hold the PSP by the hand and push pressure so I don't strip the screw. Because you want to use these screws because the first party screws are the best quality and the third party screws are so cheap that they'll strip easy. And then for me, luckily, I don't have to get a different drill bit set. You can't see it. But you can tell on these top 2 if they don't look like the normal little cross. Like you're gonna need a different type. So that's why I recommend like an iFixit set or third party set. I got this one for my brother. And then I think he got his from Amazon. These ones are fairly easy to open. They're smaller, but usually the drill bit size I use, the screw size I use fits everything. So boom. All my screws organized. So this is 1, 2, da da da. I don't know what I'm doing. I've literally never done a tutorial before. All right, once you get this done, there comes the part where people are probably scared, but you're totally fine. Lift it up. Be careful because On this side, there is a little like tab, and that's what keeps the PSP a hold. And then you can just take your PSP buttons apart. If you want to reuse them or save them for later, you can clean them up. You're gonna need this for your shell, your new shell. This is the membrane for the D-pad. And then sometimes these are stuck together. The little PlayStation tab, home tab, the volume. Be very cautious if you're gonna reuse these. These are sometimes very fragile, and they'll snap in half, and you don't want that. And then yeah, you can just toss this, throw it away, keep it, save it for later. I don't know, do whatever you want. Here is the brain. Well, not even the brain, we're not even at the brain yet. This is the bugged out screen. So what we usually start off with is we want to take off the control center where it has the volume control center, the home button, all that. We want to take this off. So what I do is I use like a pry tool like this. Sometimes these ones have screws. As you can see right here, there's a screw right there. You're gonna want to take that screw off because that is connected to the volume control center board. Some of your PSP may not have this screw, so don't worry, you may not need this. Like I said, this is gonna be a little difficult. You're gonna have to do a little research before you start opening it up. So then what I do, since I took this off, the control panel board is attached to it underneath this. So what I do is I just try to lift this up because this, the little hook, as you can see, it comes off. It's a little trial and error. It's gonna take some force sometimes because, you know, they've been sitting there for so long. Anyway, it doesn't really matter actually. I got this piece off, and you can see now there's a little black tab on top of the silver. That means you got the piece of the control center detached. And now this is what I do. I just slowly, I'll take off the thumbstick. You can take off the thumbstick by pulling it off. And I just slowly pry right here, right between this this black bar and this tab where the control center is at. I get underneath and I pry it just a little bit. If you have something thin and sharp like this is perfect, and small, you literally can fit through it and tap that open. So now this is detached. Now you got to get to the other side and detach this side. So what I do is, you see there's like a little lift right here. You're just gonna lift it, as you can see. But there's also this. It's like it's connected like 3 times. So you're gonna want to disconnect right here, and it's between the actual LCD screen. So be careful. And yeah, sometimes it's a little hard, and doing it like this with the camera in my way is a little hard. But I got it off, and you can see it lifts like this. Don't pull anything, leave it like that. Leave it dangling. Now we gotta get the screen off. I don't care how gruesome I am with it because it's broken, but be cautious. Lift it with care. To me, I personally don't care because it's broken. And you'll find this little tab. I don't use it on the new screens, but I think this covers like the light bleeding from the LCD, but that doesn't bug me, and it doesn't bug my customers, so I leave it. And then here are 4 ribbons you're gonna want to pay attention to. Let me just try to be cautious here. You're gonna want to get this one detached. It's very small. This one, and this one. These are the 4 we need to take off right now. So this little tab, I like to just get under it with the flathead and just wiggle it. Wiggle it, boom. It is lifted up. You have to be cautious. This is the backlight attachment. So if you break this latch, your screen will not light up. You don't want that. And then this is the actual LCD ribbon. So you just want to get under the black bar and just pry it, wiggle it, jiggle, and it will lift. So what I like to do now is rip it, but of course I rip it because I don't care. Gently with your fingers pull them out from the sockets and discard it. After you get the LCD screen off, you want to get the control panel board off. So as you can see, I accidentally yanked this one, and you want to be careful. Sometimes they're very loose also, so maybe you didn't yank it, and just pry off that little tab. This is for the speaker or the microphone. You technically don't need it. I don't think there's a game that supports the speaker or the microphone. This is the microphone. But I'm not 100% sure. I haven't needed to use it. I put them back in with the PSPs, but I never seen them used. And there's no party chat or anything, so they're pointless. But put this to the side. So what I like to do is always take off the button pads and the D-pad control little membranes here. Always with caution. It's a key word in this video. It's caution. Okay, so what I like to do, this is the power switch right here. That little power switch has a little ribbon. I like to unlatch the ribbon from the button pad. Slowly pry it open. Booyah. Lift it up. And boom, you got it out. That is what turns on your PSP. There's the switch. So save that. You're going to need it. Next thing, highly will recommend. Please follow this because this is serious. Never, ever, ever take out this attachment for the battery port charger. I have had bad experiences with this. And the socket that holds the actual adapter for the charger port will break off and you can no longer charge your PSP. But luckily for PSP 3000s, you can still charge through here. This is the only model that allows you to charge through here. I could be wrong, maybe the 2000 does it as well, but the slim versions charge also right here. So if this is broken, you have this one. We're gonna unscrew. If yours doesn't have a screw, don't worry. Sometimes they don't have screws. I've done many of PSPs and I've wondered why some of them come with screws and some of them don't in certain areas. I guess it's just the model or the mate, whoever made it at the time. What I do is I go under here from where I took out the void sticker. I'll just push the yellow tab up and just pull this out of the little holder it's under cautiously. And just leave it like that. Leave it dangling out. And now we're gonna pry out the speaker right here. There's a little tab, you just push it to the side. And boom. The speaker's out. Just place that there on the side, safe. Now we are going to take out the L and R button. So they'll come with this little tab. Sometimes they're screwed in and sometimes they're not. So if it's screwed in, unscrew it and then take them out. And then take out your L and R's. Easy like that. You just lift them out. Simple. Some people, I usually sometimes now use the third-party L and R buttons because I haven't had a problem with them. But if you feel like the L and R buttons from the purchase of your third-party shell is too cheap, then use the original ones, clean them. But yeah, once you get that done, now we can actually take out this this membrane. Or this ribbon membrane. I don't know what this is called, but this is like the control panel. Is this ribbon right here. And we're gonna do the same thing we've been doing, slowly easing at the latch. Boom, out. So for here, I like to use this is where the tweezers come in. And I just, boom, there it is. That's all I have to do. Here, I totally recommend just using your hands, is just lifting up this charger socket from under this. And now you're just gonna pull slowly with your hand because it's stuck to the bottom of the case. I'm just gonna pull slowly. Slowly is the game. As you can see, it's coming off. Don't yank. This is also connected to your right trigger, and this is with your right trigger clicking on. So we got that out. Done. So this side is practically ready to go. Now we got to get this side down. Okay, another tip. Okay, for this is for the D-pad. Take off your memory cards. Remember, always take out your memory cards. This one doesn't come with a memory card. Sometimes this black casing right here on the side, on the very bottom, you'll see a screw right here. You're going to want to unscrew it. If yours didn't come with a screw like mine, you're fine. You just got to detach this ribbon right here. This is for the D-pad ribbon. Right there. And do the same thing we've been doing. Slowly lifting at it. Boom. I got it down. And sometimes I like to just yank it because it's a very... I don't... Just use the tweezers. Don't listen to me. Boom. It's out. So now what I like to do is you want to grab the tab that opens up the SD card and lift. Oh, sometimes you'll get a D-pad like this one where it has a whole different type of... Your D-pad's gonna look so different from mine. This is a weird version. I don't know why this is, but I think this is a Wi-Fi adapter. I'm not 100% sure what this is. If anybody does know what this part is attached to the D-pad, please let me know. But it's the same process. You just have to take this off, slowly lift up because you're also connected to the left trigger, and just lift. And boom, there's that. Keep that in a safe spot because we're going to be using it again. Now the last part we have to take off before we take off the motherboard is the analog stick. As you can see, this one is seen better days. It is dirty. So we will clean that once we get this off. So there's a latch again right here. This is to the analog. And you're just going to do the same thing. It's the same trick. Just slowly pry it off. Be careful because this one is smaller. And boom, it's out. Get your tweezer and just get slowly under it and just pull gently. And boom, tab, it's out. Ribbon is out, and there will always be a screw for the analog. So you have to unscrew that with a Phillips screw. Only one. It's only one screw. And make sure you save these OEM screws because you're going to want to use it for your new shell. So now you just lift. And boom, there is your analog pad. I will be cleaning this up and I'll show you how to clean this. Now we are not ready. Do not take it. Don't do anything. Still follow me. I almost screwed up myself. You want to take off this ribbon right here. This is parted to the UMD. If you don't care about your UMD, but you're still gonna have to take it off anyways, just slowly. This one is, there's one that's different. I'll show you how to. This one, we're gonna do the same thing we've been doing, slowly but lifty. The technique is key here. Okay, that is out. Now with this one, it is a little different. If you have modded Game Boys and you put a new LCD in the Game Boy, it has a ribbon where you have to take off these tabs. And they're separate. So you just pull these tabs out. Not simultaneously, but just like that. And just keep on pulling out until it's reached its max. Then you should be able to go underneath the rivet with your tweezer and pull out. Done and easy. Now we can take it out of the motherboard. So what I recommend is always taking off this tab. You have to take this tab off to get the motherboard out. So once that tab is off, you're just gonna grab from right here. What I usually do is I grab from here where the headphone jack is, and I just lift up. Careful, you're gonna want to angle it because it's trying to come out of the mini USB socket. And boom, there is your motherboard. If your motherboard's seen better days, get some isopropyl alcohol, clean it up with gently with a Q-tip and just rub it down. But mine's is actually, they're usually always in clean condition. Just put it to the side, just keep it safe. And here is an RF shield. I don't know what it's called. This type of shielding. I never put them in with the other ones because I haven't had a problem with it. I don't know what they do. But I always seem to forget to put this on there, but I've never had issues with it. So I say you're fine. All right. Well, we got most of it out. Hope you guys are tagging along. I'm sorry if the video focus is bad. I don't have a camera. I'm working with what I got. So now we're going to do the UMD. We're going to pop this open. Editor J here. I missed a step, so that's why I'm going to point it out, and then I'm going to show you in the next clip what you're supposed to do after you taken out the motherboard. The thing before you take out the UMD is we have to take out that bottom part of the PSP shell. It has like a spring and like a locking mechanism so the spring doesn't come out. This is what keeps the UMD door from snapping open and like having like a very tracted like door mechanism. I don't know how it works, but that's the next thing we take out. Sorry, I was so eager to just keep on going. I missed that step, but don't worry, you guys are going to be seeing it in chronological order. So yeah, this is the next step, is the spring. Sometimes the spring will be protected by something like this, or it's actually built into the tab right here. And you just got to lift this tab up. It's so annoying that I have to do this. I don't really care about this tab because I'm not using this one ever again. So I'm just gonna yank it out because I'm not gonna use this. So once you get that tab out, and just use your tweezers to pull this spring out. This little spring, you're gonna pull it out slowly. And you're gonna save it because we're gonna have to use it. This is what retracts the door from opening and closing. Okay, I was hoping I wouldn't get a PSP like this for this video, but I did. So I can't show you what yours is probably most likely gonna look like, but I got one of the rarer PSPs that have the funnier looking D-pad and the weird UMD I don't know what you call this rack, the UMD rack. So we gotta take these racks off, but they're attached via the shell. Usually there are little silicone squares in your little spots right here in this corner and in this corner that you can pry out with a tweezer, and you just yank them out and you're going to reuse those on your new shell. But with this PSP in particular, the UMD has the little tray has a built-in little plastic piece right there. Do you see that little plastic piece right there that I'm pointing out with my finger? That's actually built into the actual shelling case, which is unfortunate because I actually have to use these pliers to actually cut that off so I can get this little tray out, because we need to get this out. So I'm going to cut pieces of this PSP case, which is fine. It's gonna be trashed anyways. Okay, I got one piece out from cutting. This one is still stuck, so I'm going to keep on chopping at it so I can get it. Most likely yours will have the little black little tab squares that you can take off with tweezers. That's easier. This is more annoying, just a nuisance. But I got it out. Always want to keep this tray because we are going to reuse this tray. Alright, once we get that out and it's just the UMD door, you're just going to get the same prying tool. Clean off all this plastic debris. Just going to grab that same prying tool that you use to take out the just the thing I've been using. Whatever you're using, you're going to want to get in here in the corner. And somehow between the door and the actual this side of the PSP, you're gonna get in there and you're gonna pry that baby out. I feel it once it's out. Actually, no, it's not out. What the heck? Once you get that baby out. Okay, keep in mind, this is where I messed up a step and I didn't take that spring out. But if you followed my steps and took that spring out, you shouldn't have a problem taking out this door. As you can see, I messed up and I still had the spring in, and it was keeping me from letting the door come out. So that's why you're seeing me having a hard time. You shouldn't have a hard time. It should come out very easy. This should be smooth sailing. I like how this one is trying to make me look so bad. Technically, I don't care if I broke it because it's trashed. You can do the same thing if you want. And I don't really care for UMDs either because I'm not going to use them. I mean, but the person who buys them might have a PSP game lying around that they have. But what I do is I usually mod these so they have a bunch of games in it. But if you have a game that I didn't put, or you have a game that you want to use, your original, take this out. And I totally forgot why your door was having such a hard time. So I will skip ahead. You guys are going to see this part that I'm talking about. So what you saw earlier and why I was having a hard time opening the door is because I forgot to take off the spring first. So once you get that spring out, the door should be easier to open. So I will put that part ahead before showing you the door. Okay, next now, is these 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're just gonna unscrew. It's very simple, nothing too crazy. And these screws are so different from the other ones, so you can't mix them. They have a big old freaking circle tip. Like I said, I put the UMDs in there just to make them feel heavier. But technically, if you're modding your PSP, you don't need this anymore. And you can mod it with a lithium battery upgrade. But we're not doing that this video. We're just putting this and transferring everything over to a new shell. And then you should just be able to lift it out. Just find a spot to slowly lift it out and pull out. Sometimes you will pull a silicone thing right here for the screws. You want them on there. And sometimes they will stay stuck to the actual PSP. So just grab that out. Like that. And just put this to the side. And then one more thing I will not have showing you in this video because my third-party shell does this already. But some third-party shells will not. You will need to be changing this little latch thing. You might have to take this off, and there's a spring on the top, and you have to transfer it over to your new shell. But let me take this off. Fortunate for me, mine already come with it on it, so I don't have to do that ever again. So this is why I found my, but I will send you a link to a person who shows you how to do this. If yours does not have this white tab on, your new one does not have a white tab on it already. If you need to take this one off and put it onto your new shell, then I will send you a video on how to do this. For me personally, fortunately, I don't have to do this. It's not hard, it's just a pain in the ass, and it's so tedious. So now, before we move on to the shell, I'm gonna clean up some of my stuff. So what I do is I just spray a little alcohol on the floor here. I grab my toothbrush, scrub all that ice purple, and then just clean some of the items that need to be cleaned. Alright, get your third-party shell. What I like to do is just grab like something soft. You don't want to ruin it. This is a brand new shell. And you're gonna do the same thing what you did. You want to take out this door. And these ones should be easier to come off. Look how easy that was. And we're going to put our UMD. It only goes one way because the ribbons have to fit through the little holes. So it only goes one way. And just make sure you put the ribbons back where they came. And you got to put this small ribbon into this little hole in the bottom here. Okay, it's in. And just make sure the little silicones flushed in with screw holes. And from here, you just screw it in. And you're basically just reversing what you just did, detaching your PSP and just doing it back. So I won't be full. I will just show you certain things that do need to be talked about, like the spring thing, and I'll show you how to do that. But everything else, it's simple and self-explanatory. You just do the same stuff you did, but do it reverse, like putting it back on, like a Lego. So just screw this stuff in. And if you think like certain parts of my videos are helpful and certain parts aren't, there are other tutorials on how to assemble and disassemble a PSP 3000. Go and look those up and compare videos. Some of them might have different versions of their models, like mine. It's a total rare model, I think. I never see this model. It's a little bit of a weird one. This might be like the last version. Always, also, I forget to do, take out the door. Battery door. Take that off. It's just easier for what you're going to do next. Alright, next what we're going to do is the door. And we have to use the OEM rail because it's the best version of it. I just want to put these little prongs in the bottom here. And as you can see, there's like a little rail. You see the little rail that it goes in? What I like to do is put them and set them in already, and then set it like this. Hold it. You gotta hold it like this, and we're gonna put the door back like this with the. So you're gonna put the door back the way it came. Okay, I got the door in. And we're going to put the rails back on those sockets that we had a hard time with. Alright. And if you have those little black squares that should be going right here between the rails, put those in now. Fortunately for me, I don't have that, but I never have a problem. And they always stay. But as you can see, there's no traction. Like it just opens. Weird. That's because we got to put that spring back into place. So now, usually third-party shells come with this new like square thing. This is what I use. We're gonna use this square with the OEM spring. And here, this is a little harder. I have a hard time explaining this to like my family, like my brother. There is a little hole that the smaller part of this spring, which is this part right here, goes in here like this. As you can see, look at it's like a little thing, and then it goes into another thing. As you can, it's so hard because my camera sucks. I would recommend looking at another person who has a video better angles for this part, but yeah, this is so hard to explain. But what you're gonna want to do is get this long piece of the spring that's sticking out. You want to connect it to the door we just attached, and there's a hole on that door, and I'm just going to jiggle my finger. There's a little bit of a game here. You gotta, it's a little bit of trial and error. I have a hard time on this one, and I just kind of like play with it. Oh, I thought I got it. Okay, I'm going to try and get this spring in. I'm having a hard time. You might have a hard time as well. It is a little hard because it's so tiny. And as you can see, it's connected to the door. And that's where this part comes in. And you just put it in this little slot right here and push down. And now this spring was not going anywhere, and now you feel that. Look at that. Definitely will recommend you watching somebody else do that part, because it's a little hard, and I don't have the best angle, and this phone sucks at recording. Now that we got that up and ready to go, we put everything back together. So let's take out this part, the third-party little bracket, because we gotta put the motherboard back in. And I always angle it to fit back into the USB slot. Just want to be cautious here. this is not in properly. You're gonna have a lot of trial and error and trying to get this back in, because this is a third-party shell. Until everything goes down smooth. You will never feel satisfied. Like right now, I'm not satisfied the way it's fitting. Especially right here. There we go. I got it in. Now I am satisfied with this. It should be flush. And it also should connect in here. That's how you know it like fit perfectly. Check out the mini USB. It looks to be lined up. And then the battery slot, the battery bracket. All right. This is the tutorial, but somewhat not a tutorial. I'm just showing you guys how I do my shell swapping. Okay, I'm gonna be clear now because I clearly suck at this. Maybe one day we get better production quality camera stuff, we'll have better video. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put the joystick back in, and what I like to do actually is put the ribbon inside the socket already, so I don't have to deal with it before putting it in. And it's in all the way. Close it up, and what I do is fold it and push it in, and it should go down easy. And then we put the screw in. Booyah. That's in now. Next, I like to do the D-pad. Put the D-pad back in. Always, let's replace this this used up tab. You just simply go inside like this, and you just lift up and it'll unhook, and easy. It's really not that hard. Let me grab out the circle pad and this new replacement. Storage thing, and just put it in, and booyah, a new one shall emerge. So let's put this back in properly, and let's put the ribbon. Oh, make sure your ribbon door is open. It is not open for me. Once you get that ribbon in, close it up, and your D-pad, put your left thumbstick pad in, and you should be good. And let's put the new ones in. Let's take out these old OEM triggers. Are kind of dirty and dusty. And in here, they come with new buttons and stuff, so I just replace it. Booyah. That's done. We're almost done. Now we have to put the button pad. So let's go underneath the charger port, place it in, and let's put it back in its ribbon slot. Ooh, that's easy. That one's easy. And then now you just want to place the holes back in properly. And there should be some adhesive still, so you should be good. And then just place your right trigger in. And then you want to put the charger port back in its little cover. And then go underneath the power port adapter thingy. This part wants to be on top of the charger port. And then screw in your charger port. And screwed in the charger port. Let's put our right trigger up. Actually, let's put this guy back on this side. And then we're going to put the little bracket to save the trigger from coming off like that. Alright, booyah. Booyah. Got that done. Let's put the power port back in with the ribbon. Make sure your ribbon door is open. Place that puppy in. And then close it. And put it back in its little hoister. And make sure you have your switch connected with the little tab. Should be good right there. There you go. We have the switch and all that ready to go. Oh, one thing I totally forgot to put together because I really don't care about it is the ribbon cables for the UMD. So let's put those in because they're easy. And what I like to do is hold that other part in and push this in, and it should be good. Perfect. Now we are ready to put everything else back. Don't forget, I forget to show you guys, I also forget myself, to put this speaker back on the right side by the button pads. If you remember there was a speaker there, just put it back and you should be good, and then you can continue with this process. Sorry, I forgot to record that part, and I also forgot that step. But yeah, it's a simple thing to put back in, and you should be ready to go for the next part. The last part's in, which is the screen and the control center. Make sure all the doors are open. Okay, let's do our screen. No, let's do our screen last. We'll put the microphone and the control center in first. So I really don't care about the microphone. It's in, right? And then let's put the control center in. Make sure that puppy's in. Okay, those are in. And then we're just gonna get our new screen or your old screen and carefully put this puppy in. Alrighty. So now what I like to do before I get everything and put it back together, I grab my battery, slowly hold that stuff together and put the battery in and turn it on, see if everything works before I put everything in together. Hopefully the screen lights up. If it doesn't light up, booyah, we got screen. So now what I like to do is test everything. You can test it without the pads. So I'm just gonna press that. That worked. Let's see if our control panel works. There we go. Volume. And then the internet. Let's check out. What I like to use is the www dot whatever internet, and just press B or press O and use your analog. You can use the mouse, and this tells if the analog is working. This is how I tell. Alright, we seem to be good. So I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to finish up assembling it. Okay, we're going to put that in. Put this down. Put this in. And then last but not least, we want to put this back on over the brackets for the control center. This is to tie it all down. Okay. Hold on here. Alright, once you've tied everything down, screw that screw in. That was holding the motherboard, the control center, and the actual shell down. And since mine is a new screen, it has a little film I have to take off. Sometimes it's a little hard to take off. Oof. And let's put our numpad on here. What I like to usually have is a duster, but I ran out of freaking air. Put these gently on your spots. Your home, volume, select, start. Put those there. Prep your new front plates. Usually both sides have a film to take off. Usually, not all the time. Most of the time they do. And sometimes they're a pain in the ass to get out. And there you go. There's the inside film. And then what I like to do is grab our D-pad, put the D-pad in like that, and then put the little thing from our OEM shell. This is to make contact with this board, and make sure there's no dust before you put it in. It's kind of annoying. I'm annoyed that I ran out of air, compression air. Definitely annoyed. Okay, and just slowly put it back in and pray everything stays in together. Just make sure that socket, that little tab, goes back into where it came from. Oh, make sure you take the battery out. I keep forgetting to do shit like this. So you can screw it in. Make sure your freaking pads stay in. Sometimes they'll move. And hold it down and screw it, man. Always get this one first down because it holds everything on the bottom together. Alright, that screw is in, and let's put those little screws in. Okay, sometimes we have errors like this where the screw, and I guarantee you guys, so fair warning, it is not going to be a perfect fit. This is a third-party shell, so certain things aren't going to be like the original. Because why? They're not the original. So like that part right there, the tops sometimes have a hard time, so what I like to do is screw the backs in. Just be careful not to strip. Screw those bad boys in, make sure they're nice and tight just a little bit. Just make sure your triggers still click because you don't want to put it too tight or else it won't work. And then I'm gonna fair warning another warning. They sometimes will, the buttons will feel funny because they are, like I said again and again and again, I will warn you, they are third party, so they will never feel legit. Okay, once you get it in, it seems like a tight squeeze. We could try those little ones again. If the little ones don't work, oh well, I mean, it happens. But as long as the PSP is intact, you're not gonna complain. Yeah, they seem like they're not gonna go in. Oh, this one is going in. So as you can see, that fixed the little problem I was having. They didn't want to go down because it was not tight enough. Or maybe just that one. Sometimes you may not be able to put all screws in. Like this one, I won't be able to, so I'm not going to pressure it. Just make sure everything is working. And this one is an important test. This is if it charges, and yeah, this is huge. Orange light, it charges. Let's go. Done. Alright, well that's how we did it. Fair warning again, I'm gonna just say it. Not my best tutorial. I'm a little bummed. I just wasn't comfortable with where the camera was placed. It was so hard for me to actually make video. But I did my best with the camera in my way. And I still shell swap, so you should be able to shell swap. I had a whole ass phone literally in my way doing this. And we still got it to work. So also there is a blue ring around it. If you get one like this, it's just a cover. It's like a tape, and just take off the tape and it's silver. But you can keep the blue also. It looks like a Spider-Man theme. Looks pretty cool. Okay, so I have all these fantastic looking PSPs Look at all of them. That's super dope. All of them are... By the time this video comes out, they're already available and they might be gone. If they're still there, go and check out my shop. Link in the description. I have modded PSPs, modded DSs, 3DSs, and hopefully GameCubes by then. But yes, stay tuned for more videos like this. I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, and I'm sorry. Again, fair warning, the tutorial is trash, but I'm just showing you how I do it. Alrighty, bye.